The innkeeper beckons you in with a warm smile. You inquire as to the price of a room, only to receive a soft, "Oh, that won't be necessary," in response. Befuddled, you ask why. "I could tell from the moment I laid eyes on you poor pathetic lot that it simply wouldn't be right to ask you for money," she says blithely. This must be a stela of the Isle's guardian spirit. Excellent. Congrats. Fortune favors the bold. Fortune favors the bold. You did great. Ahead of you on the path, you spot a woman crouched on the ground. It looks as though she's twisted her ankle. She looks up at you and asks, "Don't suppose you could spare any salve?" You draw some salve from your pack and give it to the woman. She gulps it down in one go, and then starts jumping up and down with considerable vigor. "Medicine, am I right? It's the one thing we can all count on," she says with a broad smile. "This is all I have, but it's yours." She hands you a small token of her appreciation. She explains that they were given to her as a souvenir by a friend. But alas, she isn't one for seafood. You put the sack of sea grapes into your pack and continue on your journey. Teamwork makes the dream work. You stand on the edge of the forest. As you lift your foot to step beyond the tree line, and the trees rustle ominously. Perhaps it is best not to tempt fate. The fisherman mumbles to himself, "Oh, I just want some nice salty sea grapes." Are these what you're talking about? Out of your pack, you take a bag given to you by a woman you'd met previously and show the contents. The man's eyes light up the moment they fall upon the tiny fruits of the sea. Almost instantly, he blurts out, "I'll take them off your hands." You hand your sea grapes to the fisherman. No sooner do you hand them to him than he begins devouring them with great gusto. Through a mouthful of sea grapes, the fisherman says, "Here, take this as thanks." He holds something out to you. He explains that he caught it in his net in some ocean or another. It had an unusual shape, so he decided to hang on to it rather than throw it away. You push the bent stick into your pack. It sticks out a bit, and you think to yourself that it's not the easiest thing to fit in there. You know what happens to those who enter the shrine unbidden, warns a paper pasted to the gate of the shrine. Alas, you don't know, and are left to wonder and despair. Your group enters a frightfully disordered armorer. Half-finished bits of plate, pauldrons, and other protectives litter the interior of the establishment. The owner and resident blacksmith is mumbling to himself, "Someday, I'll forge the strongest suit of armor in the land." You ask him about this, and he proclaims that he aims to make a name for himself as a smith by crafting the greatest armor in the land, which will in turn help his business to flourish. Unfortunately, he continues, the ores he needs to produce higher quality armor have proven difficult to procure, leaving him rather frustrated. The proprietor of the shop says to you, "If you come across any rare ore, by all means, bring it to me." The purveyor of armor once more welcomes you to the shop and is ready to give your coin. "What can I do for you?" the proprietor asks. "Will that be all?" the proprietor asks. "Welcome to Alabaster City," the soldier bellows in unison with their colleague to the right of the city gates. "Welcome to Alabaster City," the soldier bellows in unison with their colleague to the left of the city gates. The soldier sternly surveys the people walking up and down the street, periodically pausing to write something down on a piece of paper. The city is safe, thanks to the maiden and the soldiers, the girl exclaims. She seems to have not a care in all the world. Do your part to keep Alabaster City clean. The soldier holds out a bag, hoping to collect the refuse of passers-by. What a thankless task protecting Alabaster City's image must be. If I shop here, I'll have to shop next door as well, the woman mutters to herself as she peruses the necklaces on display. It would only be fair, she says, trying on one of the necklaces. If anything bad happens, the maiden and the soldiers handle it, the boy says, though clearly bored with the peaceful city. This area is off limits, the soldier says, stopping you in your tracks. Among the townsfolk peacefully going about their day, you see two young women making quite the racket. It's all your fault, one woman shouts at the other, whose eyes run with tears. They appear to be fighting. No fighting, Lack exclaims in a rare bout of righteousness. Get out of my sight, you weird puppet, the woman retorts. Lack is shocked. She may be right about Lack being strange, but you admittedly feel a bit bad for it. The self-assured woman is Lanka, the ivory maiden and keeper of the island's destiny. The woman being berated is Krim, the ivory maiden's attendant. The women explain that they were entrusted with killing the deserter who ravaged the town. Lanka claims that the deserter escaped because of her bungling attendant and noogies a fist against either side of Krim's head. Lanka gives your group a long, appraising look before whispering, "You'll do nicely." Consider this a great honor, she continues, then orders you to help her in the search for the deserter. You had wanted to ask her about her maiden's relic, but now it seems you have no choice but to obey her command. You wonder if the masked soldier you saw earlier could be the deserter the ivory maiden is after. You inform her that the soldier fled to the west. According to the maiden and her attendant, a woodland known as the Mystic Forest lies in that direction. The mystic forest is a dense wood. Travelers who have ventured through the closely packed flora claim to have experienced mysterious happenings within. Upon entering the sprawling forest, you notice Krim trembling as her eyes dart about. When you ask her what she's worried about, she explains that there are rumors of talking trees. She suspects that's just superstition, Lanka says condescendingly. A somnolent tree. A somnolent tree looks in your direction. If you wish to go further, heed our voices, the tree says eloquently as you approach. Lanka, who had claimed talking trees to be mere superstition, shrieks loudly and holds fast to Krim. Thinking at the attendant's chance to lord this over the maiden, you glance over. But Krim, in her surprise, has fainted, her eyes rolled back into her head. The tree continues to speak, unbothered by your party. Healthy tree, you wonder if the tree's enigmatic words are some sort of hint to get through the forest. Magnificent. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. You feel an energetic aura bursting forth from the talking tree. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. The tree speaks in a weak voice, as if it might fall over at any second. Magnificent. As you walk through the tall grass, you hear a weak voice calling to you. Immediately afterward, you are assaulted by countless pebbles and make a swift retreat. As you walk through the tall grass, you hear a lively voice behind you shout, "Good luck!" After doing as the sprightly tree said, you're able to move forward. It seems that the tree near the entrance spoke true. If you lose your way up ahead, perhaps you should listen to what the other trees have to say. The ivory attendant complains as you make your way through the dense trees, repeatedly invoking Lanka's wrath. Each time, Laddie pats the crestfallen Krim on the head. You hope to pacify Lanka, but rather than being soothed, she simply pouts. I'm a brilliant maiden. I deserve better than this. She explains that in Alabaster City, maiden and attendant are decided by national decree and cannot be contested. It appears each island's maiden and attendant have a unique relationship. Magnificent. Magnificent. As you walk through the tall grass, you hear a weak voice calling to you from behind. Seeing you distracted by the voice, nearby monsters take the chance to launch a surprise attack. Fight them off. After defeating the monsters, you pause to catch your breath. Suddenly, your surroundings start to distort. When the warping finally stops, you realize that it appears you took a wrong turn somewhere and must find your way anew. You hear the whispers of a small tree's voice in your ears. The voice is frail and followed by a sigh. It sounds like the tree really hates travelers. Fight him off. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. The tree enthusiastically teaches you the way. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. The tree directs you one way in a frail voice. As you walk through the tall grass, you hear a lively voice shout from behind. Yes, that's right. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. The words sound as if they're being wrung out from the tree itself. You wonder if you can take them at face value. Magnificent. You hear snoring nearby. When you look, you see what appears to be a healthy tree snoozing away. You gently shake the tree. Despite having just awoken, the tree speaks in a lively voice. "My apologies," it exclaims, then leans out of the way. When it does, you see a path on the other side. Apparently, the tree is allowing you to pass. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. You know right away that this tree is lying and quietly leave the area. The tree suddenly begins speaking to you. The tree trembles in its frailty. You wonder if it fears humans. Magnificent. As you walk through the tall grass, you hear a gloomy voice calling to you from afar. You think you're so clever, it says. And fight. Fortune favors the... Excellent. At last, you corner the deserter deep in the forest. "You won't get away," Lanka shouts. Pressured by the maiden, the deserter takes a step back. "Leave me alone," the masked soldier pleads. But the ivory maiden pays their words no mind and charges into battle. The Ivory Maiden's powerful strike cleaves through the soldier's mask. Broken, the mask crumbles to the ground in pieces. Everyone gasps. The face beneath the mask. Look, I just want to live, the woman says, glaring at your party, realizing that everyone is taken aback by her appearance. She seizes the opportunity to flee deep. Black, in true boneheaded fashion, asks, "Do you have a twin or something?" Lanka, absorbed in her own thoughts, hasn't an ear for Lack's words. Though originally tasked with killing a deserter, you find yourselves faced with a woman who bears a striking resemblance to the Ivory Maiden. You get a creeping feeling that something sinister lurks beneath Alabaster City's pristine facade. Okay, want me to take you to the exit so you don't get lost in all these trees? You make your way toward the forest exit. By the time you make it out of the woods, Lanka has returned to her normal self. You explain that you're on a journey to help Laddie become a maiden and need the maiden's relic. Lanka tells you that the relic is proof of her maidenship and more precious than life itself. Then promptly however, in honor of you helping her on her nationally decreed mission, she agrees to accompany you to— A maiden must always be benevolent, she says, her eyes shining with pride at her lofty position.